Very good.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Oh man, this is wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you all so much for hanging in here with us, showing us some patience, showing us some grace. And we are so excited to continue forward now that we have worked through these technical issues and we see our class and our presenters right now on the screen. Okay, so I think that we're going to go ahead and move forward. I don't want to take any more time up. I know that we're already at 10 into the hour. We want to be able to provide everybody with adequate time for the presentation. So I'm going to jump right in really quickly, if I may. My name is Natalie Aragones. I am Operations and Program Administrator here with the Alliance. I'm going to read a quick script here. I'm also going to give it a real quick chance for my colleagues on the screen to introduce themselves as well. And then I'm going to read from a script for some housekeeping items, and then we're going to move forward with the presentation. Okay. Allison?
Hi, everybody. I'm Allison Lopez. I work for the... Welcome.
Ved?
Hello, everybody. I'm so glad that we were able to pull this off and you all were able to make it. My name is Ved. I'm the director here at the Alliance for Higher Education in Prison, and we couldn't be more excited to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Martine, if you want to come off mute real quick.
Absolutely. Hi, guys. Good to see everybody again. I'm glad we're making this work. Excited for making it work. Also, apologies to everybody. First time, right? So there's going to be these hiccups, but we're going now. I'm still trying to work on the chats. I see the reactions. I see the hearts. I super appreciate it. If I can get this chat going, great. If not, just chat in the Q&A. I'll manage all that.
All we really need is love, and that's all we need. So
I got plenty over this way. Yep.
Very, very excellent. Okay, I'm going to briefly address some housekeeping items. But first and foremost, we'd like to welcome you to the 2024 Incarcerated Scholars Conference hosted by the Alliance for Higher Education in Prison. Thank you for registering for this event and for joining this session. We are so excited to have you here. Okay, really quickly, a couple of notes, housekeeping notes about the webinar format. This session is a webinar, meaning the audience is muted and off camera so that the presenters are the focus. Only the hosts and the presenters will be on camera. Although this is a webinar, we still want you to engage. You can use the React feature, which I see that you are all doing, and they just stated they just need the love, and we can definitely show that through our reactions. So we appreciate that so much. Martine is actively working on activating the chat function so that we can utilize that. But for right now, please add any questions that you might have through the Q&A function that is working and open. We are actively monitoring that. Okay, so for right now, we're going to go ahead and hand over the presentation. I'm going to pass it off to our friends at Cal Poly Humboldt so that they may briefly introduce themselves and begin the presentation. Thank you so much.
welcome, y'all. Thank you so much to the Alliance for Higher Education. Thank you for all our viewers. My name is Dr. Maxwell Schnur, and I have the honor of being the chair of the Communications Department at Cal Poly Humboldt. And we're live from Pelican Bay State Prison, from the B yard, the highest security yard in the state of California. I'm standing proudly behind the podium bar from the chapel, and we put together the academic world that we need in an amazing classroom with some amazing students behind me. These are Cal Poly Humboldt juniors, soon to be seniors. Incredible academic potential in this room, and today's presentation was entirely organized and written by the students themselves. Today's title is Beyond the Classroom, Education in Our Communities. The student organized panel is going to present themselves, answer questions, and give you a glimpse of what it's like to engage in higher education from the position of a super maximum security prison. I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Baca.
Look good at the camera. Welcome, everyone, from the scholars, Cal Poly Humboldt. We're signing here at Pelican Bay State Prison. We welcome you. My classmates and I wanted to let you know how proud and honored we are to share this space with you. Each one of my classmates want to personally thank you. However, we're on a time schedule, so I'll be doing that for them. We thank you for your support. The education staff at Cal Poly Humboldt, we thank you for this opportunity for investing in us. The education department here at Pelican Bay State Prison. Thank you for all the hard work behind the scenes, your guidance, direction. Our lives are a lot easier because of you, and we appreciate each and every one of you. The CDCR, we thank you for supporting this bachelor program here at Pelican Bay State Prison. And no one asked me to say that. I genuinely mean that. Thank you for the opportunity you've given me. A little bit about myself and my educational journey. My name is Daryl Baca. I committed my crime when I was 19 years old. I'm 63. I've been in prison for over 43 years, and 32 of those years I did in the SHU, solitary confinement. Like my classmates, our stories are very similar. Because of adverse childhood experiences, we developed these character defects that eventually created and molded these personas that we became. Violent, angry, and scared. Because of this, I was a 10th grade dropout. I failed my GED twice in 1978, 79. And then I eventually obtained it in 1987. By the way, everyone in this classroom received their GED while they were incarcerated. Here's another statistic. In this classroom alone, there are over 425 years of incarceration. Wow. That even surprised me when I first heard about it. I arrived here at Pelican Bay State Prison in 1990, confined to my thoughts in a windowless cell, living in a world of insanity and hopelessness. And I did that for about 15 years. In 2013, I participated in a hunger strike where I eventually gained my freedom and release. And I was out here in the general population. If I may, I'd like to read something from Mari Matsuba. I could shelter myself from conflict by leading the conversation, but I have to come to believe that the comfort we feel when we avoid hard conversations is a dangerous comfort. One that seduces us into ignorance about the experience of others and about the full meaning of our own lives. While I was in the SHU, I did a lot of reading. I had plenty of time. But one book that really inspired me and kind of changed my way of thinking it's a book called The Art of Thinking by Harrison and Dr. Branson. And this book right here gave me the confidence to pursue my academic education. So I enrolled in college. I received my AA degree at Coastline Community College in social behavior science in 2014. I was released to the general population here at Pelican Bay State Prison in 2015, where I thrived. A new me emerged because of my education. I now had the tools I needed, and CDCR gave me that opportunity. I was able to get a job in the education department where I discovered my purpose in life. And that was to give my community, to give back to my community. All of us in this classroom right here are survivors. We persevered in the face of adversity. We survived because the fire inside of us burned brighter than the fire around us. I'm so proud of these young men sitting behind me for their courage and to change the narrative in the prison at Pelican Bay State Prison. I've said this before, and we have this symbiotic relationship. It's like a coalition. Our strengths are united around education. We are educated radicals. We are revolutionaries, trendsetters. The only difference today is that we don't lead with a dagger, boot, or fist. Our weapon of choice is this book right here. A reminder. Unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates said that. Or like my boss says, Socrates. So bring us your education, and we will show you how to reduce the violence and recidivism in California. Let's uplift our communities, bring our strengths, because our strengths lie in collective effort. Another quote, and this is from the numerous programs that I participated while being out here on the mainline. And this is Coach Taylor from Gogi, and she's helped me a lot through my process. And it went something like this. It's a shame that this process of observing rather than reacting to life comes after 50 years of living. It's unfortunate, but that seems to be the human experience in most cases. This is my experience. And I say this because I don't want these guys behind me to experience or endure what I did. And that's why I'm so proud of them for having that courage to do something different, to change the narrative. So I thank you again for sharing this space with you. And please let me introduce our next speaker, Mr. Padilla.
Hello, everyone. And my name is Gerald Padilla, and I would like to talk to you a little bit about what education means to me. Growing up, I was raised in a home which had been affected by prison incarceration for as long as I can remember. My family had fallen into the cycle of recidivism, always in and out of prison. As an infectious disease from one generation to the next, my siblings and I would one day end up incarcerated as well. I started getting in trouble with the law at the age of 14 until I was sentenced to 19 years at the age of 17, which I am currently serving today. And today I am 30 years old. On that sentencing day, I remember it being very impactful for me, not because I was sentenced to 19 years, but more because of what the judge had said to me. He looked down from his bench and said, "Mr. Padilla, here you are standing before me, just a young man of 17 years old. I wish there was something I could do for you, but because of your previous juvenile record, you leave me no choice but to sentence you to your maximum term of 19 years in prison. By the time you get out, you will still be in your prime, so I advise you that you make the most out of your journey, because you still have the rest of your life ahead of you." Coming to prison at a young age, I had no hope because I knew there was a possibility that I would never make it home. Eventually, I would end up getting in trouble on the yard and eventually end up in the hole. That's when I really started to realize and think what I wanted to do for my future. Did I really want to be like my family and fall into the hands of recidivism, always in and out of prison? No. I knew I needed much more, and I knew I was worth much more. Upon my arrival to Pelican Bay in 2018, I didn't know what to expect other than I had just landed in one of the most notorious prisons in the state of California. I remember one evening going to medical when I seen a group of individuals walking towards the education department. I looked to my neighbor and I asked him where they were going, and he had mentioned to me that they run college courses at night. Never have I seen so many people on the yard walking to go to school. As time went on, I decided to challenge myself and enroll to College of the Redwoods. That's when I started that's when I started to grasp the true meaning of culture. Understanding the meaning of culture, I took a look on the yard and understood, like, I seen the change going on. And that's what it's done for me. It has empowered us to challenge not only the narrative, but ourselves as well. It's helped me mature to become the man I am today. It's helped me discover how oppressed we are. As Daryl Baca puts in a legalist Foucault, criminal Foucault, the illegalism of desire and the deficiency of the subject are established by criminology in order to legitimize in the form of scientific knowledge the extension of the punitive power to something that is not a breach of the law, allowing for the targeting and the punishment of individuals who have not committed a crime, but whose supposedly inherent characteristics make them already criminals. This is not to say that we are innocent because we know from right from wrong, but it's to say how oppressed society and how they had a plan for us before we're even born. So what does education mean to me? It's a form of liberation, a way to be free from the confinement of these four walls, but from the oppressor as well. As we get ready to transition to the streets, and it allows us to become who we want to be and not who they expect us to be. Thank you. I would now like to introduce you to Mr. Corey Flenory.
Hello to everybody in attendance here today. My name is Corey Allen Flenory. This is my second time in prison due to the fact that I lacked the necessary skills and education needed to become successful upon my release the first time. I wrote a long explanation about the impact education has on my life, but last night, thinking about it, I came to the conclusion that I overeducated it, meaning I just put too much into it and it lacked emotion and feeling. And Dr. Max, my radical professor, he kept on telling me after I would read it to him, it's missing something. I said, what? He said, it's missing the Corey Flenory part. I didn't understand what that was until last night when the light bulb flashed. It was missing in me. And me is the emotion and the feelings that I have toward education and how it changed my life. And then I heard another thing in my mind from this man right here. And it was, just speak from your heart. Just tell the story, your story, about how education has changed your life. So that's what I'm gonna do. My life had moments of hardships, moments of economic distress, times when I didn't know what to do next, embarrassment for my shortcomings, shame associated with not understanding. All these things played a role in the development of my life. In the paper, I wrote about generational incarceration because at one time, me, my father, and my mother were all incarcerated at the same time. I also spoke to generational trauma because that's what affected me. My mom was in an abusive relationship by my father. He went to prison. I came to prison and left my son on the streets. All these things played a role in the development of who I am, but I didn't know that until I became educated. Higher education has given me an explanation to my life's whys. Why I wasn't like other kids. Why my parents weren't in attendance at my life-defining moments. Education helped me discover the answer to those questions, along with a roadmap to my purpose. Without it, I would certainly be what Daryl Baca called an antisocial criminal monster. a nomad, a man with no land. Education reconnected me to that society, allowing me to be embraced by my fellow educated radicals sitting behind me. These are my brothers, forever linked through our shared education, forever cemented in my life. W.E.B. Du Bois said, education must not simply teach work, it must also teach life. He knew the importance of education and how it's interconnected to a better life. The two went hand in hand. All that was needed were the right people to do the educating. Enter Mark, Stephen, Dr. Max, and the rest of the trailblazing educated radicals involved with creating this communications program here at Pelican Bay State Prison. All of us in here have partnered with College of Redwood, educated radical Miss Eagles, and other community college to obtain our bachelor's degree. To obtain our associate's degree. By obtaining our associate's degree from other community college, we are now taking part in this communications bachelor program. We will graduate with a degree in communications through Cal Poly Humboldt, which is one of only 3 polytechnical schools in the state of California. That's an amazing accomplishment for myself, along with my fellow brothers behind me. But the more important thing is the personal transformation that you find through higher education. I know for me, it's provided me with skills like critical thinking, self-reflection, and emotional growth. It also gave me a sense of purpose and achievement, which boosted my self-esteem and helped with my personal reform. My transformation on a personal level was created because of my access to education. As many can contest to, prior to my education, I was stuck in a continued pattern of self-destructive behaviors that happened while I was incarcerated in the form of rule violations and when I paroled the first time. Not having the necessary education and skills once I was released the first time led to me indulging in things that I knew was going to ultimately end me back in prison. I didn't know the effect of a lack of education would have on my life until I became educated. Taking these classes in here and learning things about myself allowed me to see that it really wasn't my fault so much that I ended up in the situation that I was. Now, I'm not saying that to say that I'm not taking responsibility for my actions, because I do, because that's the first part of becoming a man or becoming educated, is taking responsibility for your actions. So I take full responsibility for my actions. But there was also underlying factors that contributed to me being institutionalized. And those were like I spoke of, generational incarceration. Thing about it now is I sit back and I think of the effects that I have on my son as he grows every day and experiences moments of his life without me. That generational trauma is being passed on to him. And having to wait 10 years to find access to higher education to figure those things out allowed 10 years of that generational trauma that I experienced to be passed on to him because I was unaware of it. I can't thank everybody enough that was involved in my educational journey. Many of them are in this room right now. Dr. Max, Mark, Ms. Wallace, Ms. Rexford, Mr. Sherian, they all played a role, Romy, they all played a role in our education. They all helped us. They all helped us to be something better than we were before, prior to education. We have a saying in here, and it's solidarity through vulnerability. And I always push that because when you open up to people, it allows you to form a bond with them that's unbreakable. And these educated radicals behind me, they're my brothers. I would lay it all on the line for them any chance that I had, because we built something, we shared something. I know them, I know their strengths, I know their weakness, I know their fears, I know their goals, just like they know mine. And that's something that I don't take lightly, and something I'll take for granted. And I thank them for helping me along my journey. And I thank everybody that helped create this program that we're in now. And I know without a doubt that if opportunities like ours were given to other institutions, the same results would happen. They would be the same. They would be the same no matter where you put it at. Because education opens the doors to so many things, but it also opens the minds and the hearts of the individuals that take part in it. I always say that education saved my life, but I don't take that statement lightly because it did. It saved my life, and it also gave me the opportunity to be something better and have a better life upon my release. And I'll say it again, I can't thank everybody that was involved with it enough. With that being said, I pass the conversation and the podium to my fellow educated radical, Mr. Navarro.
Hello, my name is Navarro, and today I would like to share how higher education has helped me transform my life, but also distance myself from those negative thinking patterns and destructive behaviors that led me to incarceration. As you've heard so far from my peers, a lot of our stories are similar. Many of us come from broken homes, underserved communities, and routine struggles that limit our abilities to succeed. Like every person who has or is currently experiencing incarceration, we often enter prison with a limited scope of the world due to our troubled academic background. Many of us have little to no knowledge as to the type of rehabilitation or introspection which we are expected to do on ourselves in order to correct what society has labeled popular illegalisms. When we first enter prison, we are more likely to face abuse, humiliation, stigma, and alienation from society. And these experiences eventually transmit into personal histories of self-oppression, neglect, addiction, and self-doubt. We develop and perpetuate these anti-social personalities. But then again, let us pause for a moment and consider. Let's consider what happens when higher education is introduced to prison and everyone is afforded an equal opportunity to participate. Since having my chance at a college degree, I've been able to develop critical thinking skills, analytical skills, and enhance creativity, but above all, the inherent belief and value that I'm more than what people said I would ever be. Because I've learned to take accountability and responsibility for my mistakes and my choices, while also uncovering the conditioning that I went through prior to entering into prison. You see, education has allowed me to recognize how fierce indoctrination can be when it goes unrecognized by the people who are responsible for your priming of your worldview. For myself, I've come to realize that patriarchy has been the root of my troubled youth. Growing up, I was engraved with ideas of what a man is, what he needs to do, and what it's expected of him to be a real man. It's because of higher education that today I'm able to quote the famous cultural critic and feminist theorist Bell Hooks, who states, "Patriarchy is the single most life-threatening social disease assaulting the male body and spirit in our nation. Yet most men never think about patriarchy, what it means, how it's created and sustained. Yet patriarchy is a political social system that insists that males are inherently dominating, superior to everything and everyone deemed weak, especially women, and endowed with the right to dominate and rule over the weak and to maintain that dominance through various forms of psychological terrorism and violence. Again, having higher education has permitted me to better understand and recognize my traumas, but also the transgenerational patriarchy that I grew up under and continue to experience. Because of the education that my incarceration has allowed me to participate in today, I'm able to identify what has kept me oppressed and affected my humanity. It's because of higher education that I'm now driven to challenge the perception of male privilege. After completing my BA in communication through Cal Poly Humboldt, I plan on pursuing a master's in Chicano ethnic studies with future sights on procuring a doctorate in the near future. My aspiration is to become an educator, but also to create a curriculum that focuses on patriarchal awareness that is directed towards at-risk youth. I feel that through conscious rising, we will be able to inoculate those kids at risk and the symptoms of the social disease that bell hooks cause patriarchy. In conclusion, I would like to paraphrase Dr. Rising Baldi. It's precisely for this reason that incarcerated intellectuals must claim the space in the public imagination to advocate for cultural, political, and social relevance of our incarcerated scholars who need to understand the connection between politics and research in order to build a platform for advocating for social justice. This is primarily done through the public representation and engagement because who gets to tell the stories is a major issue of our time. With this, I would like to thank you guys for the opportunity. I would like to take everybody involved, the professors, everybody who's watching. To me, this has been the greatest opportunity that I've ever had. I plan on taking advantage of it. I plan on going out there and being somebody productive, somebody that's gonna give back to community and create community. I want to create spaces that bring enlightenment, that actually help people evolve and find their humanity and make this world a better place. I think all of us can do this through our little effort, and as we come together, build something bigger. It's all about coalitions. It's all about being just united as one and create this front. Again, I thank you guys for this opportunity, and I pass it on to Francisco.
Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to highlight the moment, because the moment means hope, and to thank the Alliance for the opportunity to showcasing us. Thank you. I'm going to be talking about the empowerment of education. Education has given us a dog in the fight to understand our old narratives, to be able to transform ourselves in our new journey, and giving us the tools to equip us in the pursuit of our transformative journey. I'll be talking about the changes that I've seen and the hope that came through education. But first, truly understand the present. I'm gonna talk about the past. I take a step forward, excusing myself in order to honor our truth. As Mary J. Matsua clearly states, failure to express the pain created by this legacy obscures the depth of one's feelings and discounts the subordination. In 2003, I was 20 years old. This was my school. We would raise our hands in pursuit to the hall or to the shoe, like if it was our college. It was a negative world. The best way that I could describe it is like grabbing two magnets and flipping them around. That negative energy was at the root of a structural racial division, creating an us versus them attitude, fueled by misplaced hate and cognitive dissonance, which equated to no hope. But hope came. The hunger strike, shared oppression creating a collective resistance, sparked a flame of support through activism, family members, friends, and good people that helped end the undetermined issue, changes in law, and brought down violence in prison. So thanks to education, we all stand here today, positive, striving for betterment, bringing you a glimpse of our class culture. Full of hope and understanding as we gain the tools of self-understanding, active listening, and being empathetic, as well as critical thinking. And aim for our bachelor's degrees. As I end this, I would like to leave you with the movie, The Field of Dreams. There was no whispers, no talk, no conversations. When College of the Redwoods first came, 35 AAs later, a room full of Bachelor Humboldt students. If you bring education, they will come. Now for our class closer, Mr. Holman.
All right, good morning. I would like to just tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Davon Holman. I'm 35 years old, and I've always known I was smart. I just didn't have the tools to showcase it. I grew up in a society that was very oppressive and dangerous. Because of this, I chose to run the streets and make the wrong choices. I dropped out of school in the 10th grade, and this ultimately led me to prison because I lacked education. Education has taught me this. I don't take education lightly, as my ancestors were killed for trying to read, write, and obtain their education. I have been incarcerated since 2011 and been at Pelican Bay State Prison since 2012. And it was not many educational opportunities here. It was really no hope in here. And this led me to continue the cycle of getting into trouble and making the wrong choices. I have witnessed my peers come back and forth due to the lack of education, no tools to survive or make a living. Thanks to the educational opportunities that has been afforded to us, and me seeing my peers going to school motivated me. And this motivation turned into me getting my GED in 2018, in this very room right here, and brought this hunger for knowledge to get more. Thanks to this hunger, I was able to go to the College of the Redwoods in 2019 and obtain 3 degrees. And now I'm proud to be a Cal Poly Humboldt Junior. But this is bigger than me. I represent for everyone in here, because without everyone in here and on the yard, thanks to the administration, all the educators from the GED, high school, College of the Redwoods, and Humboldt, I would not and could not be in the position that I am in now if I didn't have education. I have witnessed every one of these men in here grow into scholars, into hard workers, into people that will make an impact in society. We have pushed each other and we are building something that will not break, and that is a bond. This is not by accident or chance. This is what the gift of education gives you. The way to change the narrative where people think you were, it shows who you can become. Even if they don't believe it, we will change the world. And this is the power of education. Education gives you something that cannot and will not be taken away, and that is hope. Hope for a brighter future and better life. Education changes lives and saves lives. I'm sure my peers will agree with me that education is a key form of rehabilitation. The world will make it seem as if education is not important, but I would like to let everyone know that education is very important, because without it, we will not be in these seats. We are the roots that will grow into the trees of change. Can I have all my peers stand up with me in solidarity? This means you too, Max, Mark, and Stephen Landry, who was watching the fish bowl. This is my team, and I'm nothing without each and every one of you all. I would like to read something from class from the reading Melendez, Nobody Likes Garbage. It states, when the community stands together and makes a strong statement, it will be heard. We are the roses which grew from the concrete. We are the unfavorable. But I want to tell you this, the unfavorable will be favored. And this is the power of education. This gives you the opportunity and tools to succeed. Without education, I was lost like so many of us. Without education. Education, it opens up doors which were once closed. Thanks to education, we are prying the door open and taking off the padlock. We are the foundation that lays the groundwork for change. No person is free until we're all free. And education is a way to freedom, the key to the door of redemption. I would like to quote one more thing from Melendez, and this is this. Do not be afraid of setting for yourself the highest standards you can imagine for a better society. Go ahead and do it. Tense up the muscles of your body and your minds and try your best to live up to those standards. Just don't forget that failures and shortcomings are as human as triumphs and success. And that part of any political education is to be humble enough to admit that it's a learning process. I just want to let everyone know who's watching that this is the power of education and the investment in education and the goal of education. Knowledge is power. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Just a quick few words really quickly. I need to acknowledge really quickly that I'm incredibly emotional. The power that was just conveyed in this presentation is awe-inspiring. Thank you all so very much for your contribution. Absolutely beautiful. There are a couple of words that stood out to me in everybody's presentation, and this is due to the educational opportunities that you've received. Some of these words are empowerment, hope, purpose, solidarity, community, transformative change in mind, body, and spirit, and an opportunity to achieve generational change as well. I thank you so very, very much for the opportunity to be here with you for this incredibly powerful presentation. I'd like to open it up for some questions. This is going to be moderated through Allison. I'm so very grateful. Allison, I'm passing it off to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie, and thank you, everybody. I echo everything Natalie just said. That was amazing. That was just so amazing. There are a ton of really just powerful messages in the chat, just encouraging, and just tons of shout outs and messages from all across the country, just saying what an honor it is to hear these presentations and hear these stories and how people are going to take these back to their programs and use them with their students, and just tons of really, really awesome messages. There was a question about a book that was referenced earlier in the very first presentation. Someone wanted to know the author of a book that was mentioned in the first presentation. I don't know if you remember that in the first presentation, but someone had that question. And then if you know that, otherwise, you all provided really cool discussion questions. So if we don't have questions in the chat, I'm going to ask some of the discussion questions that, we do have a question in the chat, actually. Okay, this is from Danny Murillo. Who is currently developing a student leadership and professional development curriculum and hoping to start facilitating at BYARD in collaboration with Cal Poly Humboldt and College of the Redwoods. So for all of the students present, what would you like to see included in that curriculum? And then come up to the mic, maybe.
I think my name is Frank. I think we would like to see more leadership. We're in here. We explored in the bachelor's program many leadership classes and everything, gender communications, and it all comes down to the mass communication that we're seeking. We want to better understand the world. Like a lot of us didn't know what to expect when we enrolled in this program. But now that we are, our horizons are being broadened and we're seeing the world for what it really is. A lot of us many of us have spent tremendous amount of time in here in prison. And Before, the only thing that we do was our communities. We all said education is power. And we want to see more leadership classes and mass communication. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Also shout out to Daryl. And The Art of Thinking was the book.
The Art of Thinking, and the author is Emerson and Dr. Branson. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have another question. And this is from Sarah Robinson. What do you suggest for a cross-community curriculum for both directly impacted people and at-risk youth and young adults?
I think currently in society, there's a thing where kids are not being taught about their traumas. I think that we all experience transgenerational traumas. So when we come to prison, a lot of us suffer from that, and we don't know how to communicate or express ourselves regarding these issues because we've never experienced somebody validating our emotions or giving us any insight into what our emotions are. So I feel like we lack that. And if we could start at a young age to teach kids about what trauma does to them. And like I said earlier in my speeches, even addressing patriarchy or, certain things about gender, I think it's about bringing awareness. And I think a lot of times if we start at the root, we start, at the bottom where these kids are being developed, we'll be able to better impact them and help them to become more aware of, how they feel, how they think, and how they treat others. When we come to prison, we're expected, if we go to the board, to learn about ourselves. We got to learn about our causative factors. We learn how those traumas have affected us and what are the outcomes of those traumas. Where are we going with those traumas? And if we're able to resolve these traumas, we're able to become better humans. To me, it always goes back to our humanity. So something that I would like to create is a space where I'm able to, bring this knowledge, this awareness, because it's something that's important, it's vital, and it's something that's going to help kids just get a better sense of who they are. And in order to create leaders, we have to inspire them to become leaders. So that's something for myself. Addressing traumas, patriarchy, things that actually oppress and don't liberate. And the whole goal is to liberate and emancipate. So that would be something that I would want to create myself, or something that I would like to take to the community. Thank you.
Great answer. Okay, the next question from Susie Bannon, who used to work for the Alliance. Okay, so what has been the most significant learning from your communication studies?
I think my name is Antonio Barajas. The most significant learning is the analytical skills that they teach us. It's not just here you go, regurgitate this. It's really look at it, understand yourself, understand what that writing is coming from. It just analytical skills not only help you in class, but they help you just in life in general. I would say that. Thank you.
Amazing. Okay. This is from Carolyn Perkins from College of the Redwoods. All right. If there is one thing that those outside could do to support folks with similar lived experience to grasp onto education sooner in their lives, what would that be? Or what could that be?
Well, basically how we was people that they were like us right here out in the community, like with the education that we have, I'm pretty sure our life experience can help people out there. So like the more support we get in here, it really helps out people out there, like with our families, self-help programs, like the juvenile hall, like a lot of us could run things like that. Like it's always to the root of the problem learning. Like everybody's looking for a fast way to start. I think the best way to start is having people with experience to share that experience with these people, to show them that there's a better way. That's what I would think. That's my personal opinion.
I want to yeah, I'll hand it back over to you, Natalie. I want to note that there are just a ton more messages and shout outs in the chat, and also a lot more questions. So, we'll record the questions because they're excellent questions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Allison. In the name of time, we are about running out. And so I want to, again, extend my deepest and most sincere gratitude on behalf of the Alliance for the incredible presentation that we just received from all of the scholars at Cal Poly Humboldt. We thank you so very much. Thank you to all of the audience members and your incredible support that you've displayed through all of the awesome reactions. We're so grateful for the support. This is community. This is beautiful. I want to really quickly close out the session by adding that we are about to go into a quick break, and then we will revisit and join together again in an expressive arts plenary, where we're going to showcase some incredible art from across the country, written word as well as visual arts. Please join us for that. That will begin at 2:15 p.m. Eastern. And then we will join again for the next session, which will begin at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all so very much. We're grateful for you. Thank you. Good luck. And once again, bye-bye.
Are you okay with them? Hold on.
Wow. Wow.
That was amazing.
Wow. That was, yeah, magical, amazing.
We're all still in the webinar, just FYI.
Okay, I'll get off.
Hey, Ben and Allison, thank you so much. We really
You did amazing.
Well, dude. We're out here working and fighting for you all. So this was amazing. Like, this was beyond what I could have ever expected. So we're looking forward to creating way more opportunities like this for folks on the inside to engage with the community and vice versa. We know that this is critical for folks to stay connected. And so we're doing everything we can to make sure that there's all sorts of mediums for folks to stay connected. So kudos to CDRC and administration, and to these presentations that you all spent so much time on. So congratulations on your journey. And just for context, I'm also formerly incarcerated, did close to 10 years of my life in state and fed. So if that's inspiring to anybody here to know, for you to see what you can do, just know that these things are possible. And the person who asked the question earlier, Susie, I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this, but she's formerly incarcerated. She's also a PhD scholar in communications. And she's the one who asked that question about what was the biggest takeaway for you from communications classes. So I hope that these interactions are things that inspire you all to know that there are less limitations and less barriers to what you can achieve now. And we're continuing to do what we can to reduce those barriers for everybody. So just really appreciate you all. And we look forward to staying in community with you all.
I just want to say real quick before we wrap it up on our end, I greatly appreciate the Alliance. This took a massive amount of trust between the men in this room, the administration at Pelican Bay State Prison, Cal Poly Humboldt, and the Alliance. And with all that support, these gentlemen were able to do a phenomenal presentation. So thank you. We really appreciate you creating this space for our scholars. Thank you.
Y'all did so good.
Yeah, that was amazing. It's like you all have been doing this for a minute. So yeah, I look forward to staying in contact with everybody. So, and all the love from us. All you all needed was love. We have infinite amount of love for everybody here. So we love you.
Can we keep the Q&A up just so that we can read the questions here? I mean, we can silence the video, but can we at least read those questions real quick?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Just us and, everybody's gone from the room, right? It's just Ben and Allison and us?
It looks like there's about
Looks
90
like it's about 89 people.
Okay, but we got, I mean, if you want to answer a question, they gotta go to another session in a minute, but I think, was there something you want to say, Paul?
Yeah, I just wanted to answer that question right there about the juvenile hall, and I think, I don't know the person's name, but, the question, I teach youth incarcerated and juvenile justice in Illinois. What message about education and leadership can you give them as they begin to shape the men they become? First, the number one thing I would say to address that question is a real leader is a person that seeks out education. If they get their education while they're young, then they can make their own decisions. They don't have to be led astray by somebody else's outdated ideology or false ideology. So if I was that person, Sheila, I would tell them that if you want to be a true leader, if you want to be a true leader, educate yourself so nobody else can tell you, things that you don't believe in or that you don't want to do. That's the key step to becoming a leader, is finding education, through education. Educating yourself will allow you to be the best leader you can be and grow into the man that you want to become. You won't be restricted by toxic masculinity. You'll be able to show affection to your kids. You'll be able to show affection to the people that you have in your lives on all levels. So that's what I would say as far as it goes with that question. Thank you.
I'd say y'all are better on the Q&A than y'all sound good. And you don't plan on writing a book?
I think the answer to most of those is hire incarcerated people, hire people in this room, and maybe a helper program for sure. Find them hard.
Prospective candidates in this room.
How hard is it to advocate from education?
All right, bring it on.
We got us educated. We got a lot of support. A lot of support.
Oh, we are working it, gentlemen, aren't we? Definitely working on more support. Okay, we got the book. Navarro.
Well, to expand on patriarchy, like I said, when we're growing up, we're limited to the way we express ourselves. And I think that there's a transgenerational patriarchy that's passed down. A lot of time, my mother came from that type of setting where her father was a machista from Mexico. He set the discipline, he set the rules in the house. He expected to be served, he expected to be treated like a king. And that probably came from another generation. And if we go back, it came from another generation. So it travels down the line where it just continues to evolve and people start becoming submissive to the idea. And a lot of times we have this male privilege that we walk around with, but we regularly don't acknowledge it as male privilege. We think that everything, we're entitled to it. So when I say that we need to bring awareness to that, it's because we need to become responsible persons versus like the idea of becoming a responsible man. To me, it's more about being a person first, identifying your humanity and working off those emotions, working off those feelings and understanding and empathizing with other people. So a lot of times when patriarchy is not acknowledged, I think that's a disease. I think that's something, the root of the problem. We become, again, entitled, we become violent. We don't know how to express ourselves. We don't know how to regulate our emotions. So patriarchy plays into the way we treat other people and the way we dominate other people and the way we make people submissive. So we become so oppressive and add all of the other stuff like capitalism, add everything else, these are social oppressions that we need to start acknowledging, and we need to start challenging them. So for myself, like I said, it's all about going out there and bringing that awareness to those kids and anybody who wants to hear this. For myself, I would like to write a curriculum regarding patriarchy. So that's something that I would like to do in order to impact the systems. Thank you.
Okay, who wants to answer this one from Kenny? What advice would you give the youth involved in gangs who believe it's an honor to go to prison?
Let me answer that right there. I'm answering the question from Kenny. What I would tell the youth is that's a lie right there, that, that's some outdated ideology, and that's just gonna get you to a place where you're gonna be making the wrong choices forever, trying to live up to somebody else's standards. Like, just because you join the gang and all that don't make you a man. Will make you a man standing on your own 10 toes and taking care of your responsibilities, and being your true self, being who you are. Just because you come to prison, that don't mean nothing, because when you come to prison, you still have to do things. So just because you come to prison, you're not gonna get no respect, because now you gotta gain the respect in here. Don't matter what you did on the street. Now you gotta gain the respect in here. So like I said, that's some lies that we was told, and don't believe the lies. That's what I'm telling you. Don't believe the lies and what they rapping in them songs and all that, because those rappers, they not living that life. Most of them is not living that life. So, just going to school, that's cool. That's doing the right thing, is being cool. Like, I know they're trying to say, oh, it's not cool to go to school and all this because we come from society, but I respect people who make that choice and go to school, who do the right thing, who never came into a jail cell or a prison. I respect them more than I respect anything, because like I said, once you get in trouble, it's hard to get out of trouble. It don't matter what you do, you will be fighting for years and years to try to get out this trouble. And it's very hard, because once the system got you, they got you. So I would say, don't even make that decision to get yourself involved in no gangs and come to jail. Just do the right thing. That's all I would just tell everybody. Do the right thing and invest in your community, invest in yourself, invest in the person that you can become. Find your true self. That's it.
So we recorded the questions in the Q&A section of this, and we're going to pass them to Elaine and other folks at Cal Poly to try to get some of these responses. I think we're about to pivot to the expressive arts session that's happening in 3 minutes. I hope that folks there get an opportunity to witness that art and poetry. And so I just really want to say that, I love this emphasis on caring about the upcoming generation and the youth. And I don't think that anybody could make a more compelling case as to why folks should take their lives seriously than it coming from folks like yourselves. It can come from all kinds of people, but when it comes from folks like you and us, that's who listens. They listen to us. They won't listen to some of the other people who haven't gone through this stuff. So I love to see this emphasis, and I'd love to figure out ways for us to make it possible for you to continue to engage with not just the community, but especially the youth. So I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Love you all. See you all next time soon, hopefully.
Great work.